Well, I actually did this video in my car today, and it wasn't due to come out till Sunday. I had it set to come out Sunday. And I'm like, just going through my YouTube stuff. I just uploaded a video about the political game show contestants announced. I'm like, let me just check to make sure these last couple of videos I uploaded, everything's fine. Yep, that one's good. I click on the one I'm doing now. I'm in my car. My mouth is moving, but no sound is coming out of my mouth. Verified my speakers are definitely working. Complete silence. But because it's such a good story, I gotta do another video for you guys. Okay? So, I know we're all familiar with the Bundy Ranch situation that happened, gosh, was it over a year ago now? Where they stood up for their rights, the Bureau of Land Management, we don't want you coming here, taking over land, selling it to these Chinese investors and all this other crap. We know what you're doing. We're saying no. And I remember the news coming out, and, well, these people don't actually own the land, and it's grandfathered in, but they, yada, yada, yada. And I'd hear people talking, and the people love to repeat what they hear on the news. They repeat it and repeat it and repeat it. Yeah, well, they shouldn't have that right to do that. Yeah, those people need it. Well, a lot of people showed up in support of those guys. Mounted on horseback. Remember those pictures and videos? And the government stood down and just let it go. Well, then they had the protest at the Oregon Maher Wildlife Refuge. And after reading this, I realized how much they were infiltrated by insiders, agents, you name it. And the long story short right now, the Bundys and all of those charged, resounding, not guilty on all these charges, not guilty. Chaos erupts in courtroom after Bundy brothers, other Oregon occupiers, found not guilty on federal charges. A defense lawyer, which this was interesting for me. A defense lawyer, obviously defending the guys, was tasered and taken into custody after commotion erupted inside an Oregon courtroom when the leaders of a weeks-long occupation of a federal wildlife refuge were acquitted on all major charges Thursday. A group of rifle-toting protesters led by conservative ranchers Ammon and Ryan Bundy stayed at the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge near Burns for 41 days before the final demonstrators surrendered to police in mid-February. The Bundy brothers, along with 5 other defendants, were charged with federal counts, including conspiring to impede wildlife refuge employees in possession of guns at a federal facility. After handing down the not guilty verdicts, Judge Anna Brown let all defendants go except for Ammon and Ryan Bundy, who face federal charges in Nevada, where their father, Cliven Bundy, held his own armed standoff against federal authorities in 2014. So that was actually 2 years ago. Ammon Bundy's lawyer, Marcus Mumford, told reporters outside the courthouse that U.S. Marshals tasered him after he urged Brown to release his client immediately. Judge Brown, release my client immediately. They're found not guilty, in other words. A visibly shaken Mumford, the lawyer, said he had simply asked the marshals to produce some paperwork for rearresting his client. If you're going to rearrest him for something, and they're found not guilty today, where are your orders to arrest this person, etc.? I said, quote, if the marshals have something to say about it, let's see what orders they have. Let's see what papers they have to take him into custody again, Mumford said. Next thing I know, they took a hold of me and was talking about how I was resisting arrest. They were twisting my legs and put me to the ground and then tased me. Mumford was released after being briefly put in handcuffs and reportedly cited for disorderly conduct and resisting lawful order. Oregon Governor Kate Brown said in a statement that she is disappointed by the verdict, but respects the jury's decision. Well, let me tell you something. Miss Kate Brown and the judge and the federal officers and whoever hell else you are, the people, after witnessing this banana republic bullcrap known as the federal government currently in power, Hillary Clinton getting off, we're closing the investigation, but there's no intent, so that's why we're closing it. Excuse me, sir, we just found new evidence. She had massive intent. She got the subpoena not to destroy any evidence, and then she gave the order after the subpoena to destroy the evidence. Sir Comey, FBI heads, that's massive intent. Well, listen, we already told you we're not reopening the investigation. Only to find out tonight, Friday night I'm doing this. Friday night. Oh, breaking news. FBI to reopen the investigation. They're going to reopen it. Oh. Well, I bet they're going to find a ton of stuff all of a sudden. They're going to find what they found last time. We reopened it. You guys put a lot of pressure on us. We reopened the case. And it's like I said before, it's proving intent is, when I was an attorney, it's one of the most difficult things you gotta do, and it's a lot of times it's really hard to actually show that there was intent. So, yeah, we understand. We understand it's hard to show, but not this time. You've got all the evidence in the world pointing to intent, unbelievable intent, to destroy the evidence. So you look back at the Iran-Contra scandal, George Papa Bush, pardon this guy, pardon that guy, pardon that guy. No, nothing to see here. Bill Clinton, when he left White House, we're going to pardon a couple people, of several people. One of them, a massive drug lord. In case you're wondering about that, maybe you forgot. Let me remind you. So, Fast and Furious, Mr. Attorney General Holder, what's going on? Nothing to see here. We didn't do anything wrong. But the guns used, two of them, or one or two guns, killed federal officers in America. You allowed these guns to get over there. You stopped tracking them. You essentially gave the enemy the weapon. They killed our guys with it. We're not going to file any charges. Well, we know you're not because you're at the head. How about the guys under you that can file charges? We're not going to file charges on our boss. That's what they said. We're not going to file charges. Okay, remember this? This stuff happened. It just ain't in the news anymore. So everybody at the top gets away scot-free. No investigation. Nothing to see. Get out of my face. And they thought they could do what they've always done so far, and they usually always get their conviction. We have the agent provocateurs inside the club. Not the club, but inside the group we're trying to go after. They are programmed to get them to say X, Y, and Z. Your job, we are paying you as an agent provocateur to go inside there. You're going to be called an informant. You're going to go in there, and we must have them say these types of words, these types of phrases. We need you to get them to say these things. Even better, get them to do this, this, and this if you can. Oh, okay. And they go and they try, and they go and they try. But apparently with these guys, maybe it just didn't work. The Bundys and their buddies didn't work. In a I don't know if it was a grand jury or whatever, but jury of their peers, all charges not guilty. And the U.S. Marshals are so pissed off, they assault the lawyer. Well, let's read it. It just happened, as he was saying. Came out and said, this is what just happened to me. I said, if the marshals have something to say about it, let's see what the orders they have. See what orders they have. Let's see what papers they have to take him into custody again. Next thing I know, they took a hold of me and was talking about how I was resisting arrest. They were twisting my legs and put me to the ground and then tased me. Excuse me, sir, do you have an arrest warrant? Jesus. Is that the kind of country we live in? I guess it is. They were so mad. They were so pissed off at the jury. How dare you, sheep? We fed you all the crap we always feed you, that you always bought in past instances of stuff like this. It didn't work. And now we're effing mad. We are steaming. How dare you, sheeple, find these men not guilty? We are so pissed off right now. The guy breathed the wrong way. Tase him, he's resisting. No, I just asked you to provide some paperwork. You have an arrest warrant. Is he supposed to be arrested right now? Well, you can't just take him to custody because you feel like it. Mumford was released after briefly put in handcuffs and reportedly cited for disorderly conduct and resisting lawful order. Again, Oregon Governor Kate Brown says he was disappointed, but respects the jury's decision. Oh, all in wonder about the jury's decision. There's three things you can do about it. U.S. Marshals, listen closely. There's three things you can do about it. Accept it, respect it, and get the F over it. The people have spoken. We're tired of your crap. No rule of law at the top. Then I guess there's no rule of law at the bottom. And since we have a jury that can acquit us on anything, any charges ever, you can be acquitted by a jury. That's going to be the rule number one going forward. If you ever find yourself against the feds, you don't take the plea bargain. You always demand the jury trial. It's going to reach a point in this country where people start finding people not guilty just because they understand. You got these rotten politics at the top. There's no rule at the top. Well, you can play like that. I don't think what he did is that bad. I don't think what he did deserves that. Guys, he's not guilty. Boom. And then all of a sudden they find him not guilty. I was not expecting. Breaking news, Jason 4 unexpectedly got some news today that he did not expect. Hence it being unexpected. That they were found not guilty. What? I had to read it twice. Are you kidding? Is this a joke? The jury has spoken not guilty. Boy, it gives me great pleasure to tell this story. One for the good guys, finally. The occupation of the Malheur Refuge by outsiders did not reflect the Oregon way of respectfully working together to resolve differences, she posted on Twitter, the governor. Harney County Sheriff David Ward, who was at the scene of negotiations between the armed occupiers and law enforcement, echoes Brown's sentiment. While I am disappointed in the outcome, I believe our form of government and justice system is the best in the world, he said in a statement. This is our system, and I stand by it. For the little guy, jury trial. How come we, the little guy, can't force a jury trial on the likes of Hillary Clinton, FBI? You're paying your wife, or whatever your wife paid the foundation for you. Now you're investigating her. Is that even kind of a conflict of interest? Absolutely. So, yeah, you gave her foundation $600,000, whatever it was. But we'll reopen the investigation. Guys, we're taking massive hits on this. Reopen the investigation. My buddy Frank, we're doing a little trunk or treat tonight. He texts me, hey, you at home? You watching anything? No, why? Hillary's going to give a speech about this whole investigation, and she's saying that, you got to stand strong. It's not going to be an issue. It's the FBI. She's blaming the FBI for this. He said, I turned on CNN. They're blaming the FBI. I turned on MSNBC. They're blaming the FBI. It's the FBI. It's not her. It's the FBI. I don't care who it is. We already saw how they reacted the first time. You think they're all of a sudden going to find something new and damaging? All the new and damaging stuff's there. The fact that you've reopened the investigation tells us now you can look at the other stuff we said that there was intent. Now that you're reopening it, you can include that. Oh, and by the way, the new stuff too. The Veritas video stuff. You can put that in there too. The trial lasted for weeks, though jury maneuver by the judge likely paved the way for the sweeping not guilty verdicts. Juror 11, who another juror said may be partial to the government because of previous work for the Federal Bureau of Land Management, was dismissed on Wednesday and replaced. Are you going to tell me, are you going to tell me that out of all of the tons of people who get jury duty notices in any state, city, county, one who got selected to be on this jury just so happened to be a former Bureau of Land Management employee, the same ones that were after the Bundys in Nevada and clearly in Oregon as well? Coincidence. Coincidence. Which lets you know. Can they put the people in the jury that they want? Maybe they just didn't have enough club members in this particular part of Oregon where they got the jury selection from. They didn't have enough club members there. We only got one. He's a former federal land management dude. Put him on the, have him convince the others to find him guilty. Though there are many photos of the Bundys and other defendants at the refuge, occasionally armed, their defense teams argued that the occupation was justified as civil disobedience. The standoff, where protesters said federal land should be turned over to locals, drew national attention, repeatedly dominating headlines with fears that the occupation may end in bloodshed. At one point in late January, the Bundys left the refuge for a meeting with a local sheriff, but were intercepted by police and arrested. The occupation's spokesman, Robert Lavoy Vinisum, was shot and killed by police in the encounter, and video footage appears to confirm authorities' account that he was reaching for a gun in his jacket. Okay. I don't know what video footage you guys saw, New York Daily News, but I didn't see that at all. And they said he didn't have a gun on him. So, not sure about that. Most of the refuge surrendered in the days after Vinisum's death, though some stayed on and surrendered when officers closed in on February 11th. Beyond the 7 acquitted Thursday, 19 other occupiers were charged with conspiracy. 11 pleaded guilty. 1 had the charge dropped, and 7 are scheduled for trial next year. So you see what these bozos did? They scared them. They scared the bozos into plea bargain. Or listen, if you admit to this, we will be as hard as we can. We won't come with huge charges, just to let you know. But if you don't admit, we're going to go after you for the full extent of the law. Oh man. And the biggest guys there, the ones who started all this, the protest, if you will, we're not doing it. We're going to get a jury amongst of our peers to find us guilty or not guilty. And they're walking away free, while the lesser occupiers who were just there, 19 other occupiers were charged with conspiracy. 11 of the 19 pleaded guilty. And you morons, you idiots, can't undo it. You're done. No jury trial. You're finished. So, rule number 1, when you go to court for any damn thing, you always demand a jury trial. Having said that, I understand, by pure coincidence, we had a former Federal Bureau of Land Management employee as a juror. Again, there's not a chance in hell you were randomly selected to be there. Not a chance in hell. But it was just only 1. So, this is good news because it shows that the people amongst ourselves have the power. And even if somebody came in, you're the jury, one of the jurors in the jury, and you know this guy did exactly what they're saying. We know he did it. You still have the power to find somebody not guilty for whatever your reason may be. You have the power. So when the government is running amok like it is right now, Banana Republic style to the 10th power, you, the juror, have the right and duty to call it however you need to call it. And if that means not guilty when most people would say someone's guilty, that's your decision. Take care.